Oh, that's what it was. He started talking to the girls. He started talking to the teenage girls. He pointed out the girls. Remember, he's like, ladies, remember this, because I will never forget the temptation I felt when that girl put her hand on my leg. Do you remember?
That is some Mark Driscoll if I have never heard it.
What in the Mars Hill is happening?
For real.
Dude, you guys, I'm telling you, this is real. God, if we could write a book, bro, we could start a podcast.
We could start a podcast.
Dude. Hey, I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Brandon.
And we've recorded this intro 4 times. This is the Religious Dropouts. What's up, you guys? We're so excited to have you.
Yeah, happy Memorial Day weekend.
It's a doozy over here.
Yep.
It really is. Let's talk about some life updates, you guys. How are you? We hope you're doing great.
Yep.
Be Hammy Sammy, what's up with you?
Ooh.
Yeah, you've had some stuff.
I've had some stuff. I guess the biggest thing is probably just job transition. I got a job opportunity in Grand Rapids.
I wish I had the little sound bite. Like I had the
Fun,
little
fun,
thing.
fun, fun.
Oh, I was thinking hand clap, but same thing. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Drum roll. Brrr, choo. That was a drum roll. Sorry, go ahead.
And then people fade out with the claps. I got a new job opportunity about a couple weeks ago probably. Yeah. And that's been really incredible. It's in Grand Rapids. Jackie and I for a while have been like dreaming of Grand Rapids.
Well, I think I just sent you that thing. It got top was it like top 15 places to live in the United States?
It was 20.
Yeah, that was
20.
That was crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
The list was like 150.
Yeah.
So to be 20, I mean that's a big deal. Yeah, that was awesome. Ann Arbor was up there too.
Yep.
Anyway,
which means I had to leave my old job. But love them.
Rest in peace.
But happy to move into something that will do a lot for our family.
Yeah. And that was a great transition. Really excited for the future there.
Oh yeah, like my previous position at the church I was at, they were incredibly.
You
gracious.
almost said the name, didn't you?
Yeah, I just for some reason felt protective.
I know. It's like people can Google it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can talk about that later. Why I feel protective.
Oh yeah, we will talk. We actually will. Oh, which reminds me, we told you in episode 2 that you were going to hear this story. This is going to be the story, which you'll hear in a minute. But I've been good. Life's been tough. You know, I'm not going to lie. I'm not really plugged into a church right now. I work as a director at a nonprofit that I'm obsessed with. We do a lot of homeless. We deal with homelessness. We also deal with like addiction, and I'm just in love with my job there. I'm in love with the people there, but we have a church also, and it's amazing. It's so diverse. It is. It's just the best environment in the world. I love it, but I'm not really plugged in, and I've preached a couple times there to help for our pastor. I still love preaching. I love what God lays on my heart, being able to share that with people. But I'm not there. I'm just not ready to sit back in a church yet. And so that's been hard. I think when you go through hardship and you also don't have a church, you're like,
yeah.
So I'm
feeling
probably
a little tricky being like an ex-pastor because you would have told
I hate
everybody.
Them all. I'm just kidding.
Well, you would have told so many people like, oh, just get to church.
Yep, absolutely. And it's true. Like people be like, well, you can find church not in a building. And I'd be like, says who? You know, but like literally, I mean, I'm finding a lot of places of community right now.
Yeah.
So I feel like playing Mario Party with my friends sometimes can feel like church. The fellowship, the fun, just having moments together with community and family feels like.
I gotta say, even some of the conversations we've been having with our dropout community, they've been kind of church too.
Yeah, and I can't wait, you guys. I said this, I think, on episode 1, but I have a dream that this could be a church community someday. Yeah. That we could have some kind of really weird, unorthodox, all saints and sinners, Nania Bowles Weber type of stuff going on, just really getting wild.
It'd be cool to we need to get on the books like a meetup.
Oh my God, yeah, I love that'd be awesome. Yeah, if you guys are interested in that, let's do it. So let us know.
It'd have to be like that dance movie where like everybody gets a text.
Are you talking about Dirty Dancing? No way.
No.
Oh, okay, that's too old. I've never seen it. Someone's coming for me in the comments over that one.
I don't know.
Okay, cool. All right. If you guys know the dance movie with the text, let us know.
The dance movie with the text where everybody gets it like an hour before there's a dance off.
Love it. That is a rate. Oh, Oh, with
Just Dance is what I want to say.
No,
but
that's
Just Dance
the game.
is the game.
I know exactly. Someone's watching this like so pissed.
Step Up.
Step Up. That's it.
To the streets.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I have a surgery this week. I'm panicking. I'm not even gonna lie. I have a surgery coming up this week.
Oh yeah.
And it's a huge deal. And I'm very scared. It's a major surgery. And I'm having a couple procedures done. One is it's gonna make it the best day ever. I'm getting a breast reduction. So, not really the thing we want to go into necessarily on the pod. We got lots of people listening, but it is a pretty serious procedure, and it was approved by insurance, an actual medical need. So yeah, so I feel like it's definitely worth it. You got to do it, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm about to back out. So if you guys want to pray for me, I'm so close to just not doing it.
Crazy.
I know, I'm panicking.
You're gonna be okay though.
Oh God, yeah. God better see me through. You know what I mean? I got more stuff to say. So, all right, we're gonna play Ben's Q. We got a friend that called in. We love the call-ins, one of our favorite parts of the podcast, and
we're trying to name this segment too.
I know. If you guys have an idea, like
we'll get like a little song for it. We'll get a graphic.
Yeah, but we don't know what to call it.
Yeah, connecting with the Dropouts.
Wow, that's not the direction.
Wrote that.
Not a direction I want to go, but I support you in that. If
really,
yep, nope. Okay,
we're gonna keep talking about that.
So
that's a good direction.
Yeah, you guys let us know what you think. But this guy, we love when you guys call in. We love hearing your stories, and we had a couple really funny ones. We also had a voicemail this week that said, I love snacks," I think is what it was. We should have just played that. But yeah, we've had some really good calls. So please remember that if you call in, you don't have to tell a story. You could ask for some advice. We may not have any, but you could ask for it.
Was the snacks a confession or a praise report?
Oh man, both probably.
Okay.
I want snacks. Maybe they said I need snacks. A prayer request? Unclear. All right, let's roll with Benny Boy. See what he has to tell us.
The hardest thing about walking into a church for me is not knowing their stance on so many things, because the thing about the Bible is you can pull anything from it that you want. There's a verse somewhere that you can interpret in a way that will appeal to anything that you believe. And so that means that, one church can say that they're the same as another, but their belief system and everything that they stand for can be so largely different that it just doesn't feel like it's a loving, caring space. And you don't really know that until you're weeks in sometimes.
That bait and switch, brother. That's what he's talking about. And what he's talking about is what most churches are super gifted at. The bait and switch. It's the gray. Mm-hmm. They're not black or white. They're gray. You never really know what they believe. You're not really sure what side of the fence they're on.
Yeah, I've seen some great websites out there that help people determine whether a church
is for them or not,
affirming or not.
Yep.
And has women clergy or not. I mean, I'd like to go further to say like, is it anti-racist or not? Like that's the kind of thing that I'd like to probably.
Right. But I think Ben's on to something for sure.
Yeah, and I can put that in the show notes too.
Yeah. Yeah, the links to those websites.
But Ben's not wrong that it is hard when you're looking up a website.
Yeah.
Like a church. And being like, "Oh, okay, this is good." And even so many churches, the first thing you're going to see on their welcome sign or their banners is you are welcomed here.
Yeah, and it's like, are we though?
Yeah.
Are we? Just let me know.
Yeah.
Like you are welcome here, and then like the little asterisk, and like at the bottom it has like all the but not if this,
There's a naked pastor.
I love naked pastor. We got a couple prints from the naked pastor. We'll shout him out and then post the prints on our Instagram.
He posted a graphic this past week where it was a church door and it said like short people welcome, and all these people were peeking over the like window in the door, but yet this short person was trying to reach the handle and couldn't get in.
Oh, that's so good.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah. Well, I want to read a quote really quick from Rachel Held Evans, who was just an incredible theologian and author and mother and wife. She was just amazing, and she wrote a lot of literature. And one of my favorite books from her is called Inspired. What's your favorite book from her? Yours is different, isn't it? Or is it inspired?
It is inspired.
I was going to
but
say, I couldn't remember.
I think I get something from my first one was A Year of Biblical Womanhood.
Yeah, yep.
And that one was instrumental for me, just to be
eye-opening, I think.
Just to be a man.
Yeah.
And to kind of be like, okay, I see the complexity around this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so this is a quote from her book, Inspired. But the reason that I wanted to read this is because it's literally exactly what Ben said, which I think is so cool. Ben's a college student, and I just love the way that, I'm 32 years old. Like, I don't interpret things the way that Ben does. I'm older. And so I think the way that he just articulated that was so beautiful, being able to hear his story. But I want to read this quote because I think it just further deepens what he was saying to us. The truth is, you can bend scripture to say just about anything you want it to say. You can bend it until it breaks. For those who count the Bible as sacred, interpretation is not a matter of whether to pick and choose, but how to pick and choose. We're all selective. We all wrestle with how to interpret and apply the Bible to our lives. We all go to the text looking for something, and we all have a tendency to find it. So the question we have to ask ourselves is this. Dropouts, listen up. This is a good one. Are we reading with the prejudice of love with Christ as our model? Or are we reading with the prejudices of judgment and power, self-interest and greed? Are we seeking to enslave or liberate, burden or set free? I think that's a beautiful quote, and my favorite is at the end. Are we looking in the scriptures to burden someone else or to set someone else free? And I just think that's a beautiful way to think about the way we look at scripture and the way we approach it. I think Ben was right. Whatever you want to find in the Bible, you can probably find it.
Definitely.
So the way your heart is when you go into the Bible, the way your mind is, the relationships you have with people, all of that plays a role in what you read.
Yeah. Even what you carry to it, which is what we're saying.
Yeah.
The narrative that you speak because of your history or your culture.
Yep.
You will go to the Bible and you'll carry things to it.
Yeah.
Your political beliefs, you carry that to it, unfortunately. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
I do love what she said about having a bent towards, what was it, like God's love and
yeah, about just how we pick and choose the text, and if we read it with Christ's love as our model.
Right, yeah. Yup.
Love that. So, we've been talking a lot. I think every week we talk about church hurt. Because it's what we've been through. It's what started this journey for us, is that pain. And I think, we wanted to share this story with you because I think there's a really interesting thing to be said about how far a hateful Christian will go. And you've heard the saying, there's no love quite like Christian hate.
Mm-hmm. And
I just think, did this one just top the charts for me? So
for sure.
I guess, should we give a little bit of a backstory, being a little bit vague and just setting this tone, maybe?
I mean, I think we could definitely say, you guys are a family now, so you guys know when we say this person has been in the past one of Chelsea and I's main keyboard warriors for Christ.
Oh man. Well, for someone, yeah. Anyway,
For someone, right.
Yeah.
And I think that's I think this is not a bad conversation off of what Ben just was talking about.
Yeah.
Because so many people bring something to the Bible,
mm-hmm.
and then they say, well, it's the Bible.
Yeah, when it's really just your personal vendetta.
Yeah, and now I'm going to come for an attack.
Yep.
Yep. What more backstory were you kind of thinking would be beneficial?
I was thinking that this dude didn't just do this out of nowhere.
No.
Right? And so I'm gonna set some stage, and we've got a little bit of time. I'm gonna talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Brandon and I actually, I'm gonna leave you out of it for a second. I had an instance with a pastor where his languaging and the way he was preaching and the things he was saying to in kids services, to adults, on public Facebook posted sermons, I had a real problem with this individual's theology. And that was okay. I think it's okay to disagree, right? Like, hello, welcome
definitely.
To where we are.
Yep.
The problem, though, is that he started to really make sure that, nobody felt safe that was outside of his beliefs.
Yeah.
Like, if you did not align with his theology, you were not safe in that congregation.
Yeah.
And that really started to get to me among a lot of other things that took place, which I'm not going to talk about all those. But out of some things that happened with this guy, I went to kind of the head of our denomination and I said, listen, these are some real problems. And I'm very triggered by this stuff. It's very dangerous. It's rhetoric. There's politics in here. This is very dangerous and this has got to be handled. And it was. There was a investigation. I'm trying to make sure I use all the right language. There was an investigation that launched into this minister and in these sermons and a lot of these. And I think over like 12 people, and probably more, but I'm just going to err on the side of caution, stepped forward and they shared testimonies of hurt and pain and danger that they also experienced from this same leader. It was crazy. And it was sad. This is not like a joke. I mean, this was a very serious, devastating thing for us. And we'll talk more about this in future episodes. We're not dropping it all now, but for context, I think they needed to know that this person, their message came from a place of, these people attacked my pastor.
Yeah.
These people, because he's a leader in their, well, I don't know what he leads, but he at one point was a leader.
Well,
in
it's
their
interesting
church.
because if he wants anonymity, he claims not leader.
Yes. Yeah, like when he wants it to be a secret, he's just a church member.
Yeah.
But when he wants to attack you, usually he's a church leader.
Yeah. Which I think is a good segue because my last place of employment received a letter to our general mailbox from this person.
So let me back up. Brandon's job, where he works, and what was your title there?
Executive assistant.
So not a pastor, not a Sunday school teacher. You weren't in pastoral leadership there. You were an executive assistant, administrator. I mean, you did a lot in the office. He did tons of stuff at this job. Nothing where you were preaching to people at this career. And this dude from a church, from an old church of places we used to be a part of,
that I've blocked on my social media.
So doesn't
the dude's
even
blocked, but found something I posted, didn't agree with it, and decided I'm gonna screenshot it
and sent it to his freaking boss. You guys,
right?
He sent.
Well, maybe I don't even know if it'd be worse or not if it was my boss, but the general mailbox. So like,
yeah. So who knows who could have got it?
So 8 of my coworkers. You know
saw this letter, and I guess the contents of the letter were pretty like, it was not super long, not super detailed. It's to my memory, but it's just the fact that, like, can you imagine?
Yeah, I just feel like stay in your lane. Like I just feel like what.
But can you imagine hating someone that much?
That's right.
Where you would ever take, you could be offended, you could be mad,
want to harm. Even,
want to harm, intent to harm.
Yeah.
What was your intent?
Yep.
Sending something you disagreed with to this person's employment. Oh my gosh.
Well, he would say he is
a keyboard warrior for Christ.
Yes.
Yeah.
But more so, it's just like it's the mission. It's the sooner we can stop throwing rocks, the faster we can. This is a quote now. Is like sooner we can quit throwing rocks at each other, which. No one was throwing rocks.
No, there was no rocks thrown. Yeah. It was just like
completely different city. Just like there's no interaction. Not the same denomination.
No.
Yep. And and had that audacity. And followed up with my supervisor.
Oh yeah. Then there was another one when the podcast came out, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So not only did he send a letter he sent a keyboard warrior document to Brandon's job, he followed up with that.
Yep.
When we launched the podcast.
Definitely.
And I don't remember what that was, but about how bad the podcast was, I think. Or
yeah.
how dangerous or how divisive the podcast would be to Brandon's job at this church.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You guys. And I guess
luckily I have good leaders.
Oh yeah, they were great.
Church.
I'm so glad you just said that. Oh my gosh, we could have left them on red. We do not want to leave that church on red. No, Brandon's leadership, I mean, and I don't mean to speak to this, it wasn't my story, but they were amazing. They were great.
Yep.
And they knew it was a keyboard warrior. They knew it for what it was, like a crappy Christian.
And honestly, I want to take a second and talk about the blessing it was for the past like 2 years of my life to serve under leaders that actually pray for you and care for you and get to know you, because I hadn't experienced that. Only in manipulative ways would I be prayed for in the past, like by my pastoral leadership. But
they genuinely cared about your life.
Yeah, they did. So anything that had been happening, they already knew about.
Yeah.
They knew I was launching a podcast.
Yep.
They believed in me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
They heard my prayers and my cries and about how this has affected my family deeply. I was one of the people that, like Chelsea said about that had an issue with this one minister. I was one of the 12
testimonies. Yeah.
And man, this situation, you guys will get to know me over time. I've been more than quiet, more than respectful about what's been going on.
Most of us have.
Even though that's true. Even though it's been so close to my family and the way it's hurt me.
Yep. Yeah, and I think it's just like I don't know. I feel like for me, it's like you guys have similar stories too, right? Like you get it. Mm-hmm. You get what it's like. I mean, I remember my friend messaged me, and I won't share her name because I haven't asked permission.
Yeah.
But she messaged me. She was attending a fairly large church, and they had a guest preacher come in, but they knew the guest preacher. It wasn't like, when I say guest preacher, I don't mean that like it was some random pastor. They didn't know what he was going to say. And no, this was like a friend. They knew what he was going to say. They knew
the lead pastor or the congregation, or
kind of both. Some of the older congregation, the lead pastor, like definitely had a relationship with the people there.
Okay.
And the dude preaches like this whole homophobic sermon. Like the whole sermon's like about being anti-gay. Wow. And like how homosexuality is a sin and all this stuff. And she's just like, and she just messaged me of just like, it's so often, it's so shocking, the audacity of some of these leaders that we've worked for, that we've worked with, that you feel permission not only to speak about something like that from the pulpit. First of all, that is a whole nother thing, but that you have that kind of audacity to speak about things like that from the pulpit when you know that it's probably not even that close to them, especially by what he said. And that's another thing. And then you have the audacity to be sitting in a church and be thinking that you're a Christian. And then you would send someone's job a letter about how they're not Christian and they say they are.
Yeah.
It's just, oh my God. I mean, it knows no bounds. It's just outrageous.
Yeah.
It's outrageous.
Well, hopefully with my new job, I
hope he emails them. I hope he emails them and just says, "Hey guys, Brandon is not a Christian," and I hope they can email him back and be like, "Weird, because that has nothing to do with us."
Yeah. In our hiring policy, we can't discriminate against religion.
So actually, whatever he is, he's
cheers.
Good. He's good. You want to take a shot with us? Come on on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just outrageous. I don't know. I think the church hurt runs so deep. We've heard so many stories in the last couple of weeks, and that's the most beautiful thing about this podcast is the stories that we've heard. And I think back to some of the messages we've gotten where people have just felt so lost. And that's what I think is the most hurtful about the church pain that these people are calling in and telling us about or leaving messages about, is that the church is supposed to be the one place where you're found.
Yeah.
And it's gut-wrenching to see all of these kids, and not just kids.
That's so good.
Say that,
could you say that just again, that whole like
run it back.
Now I'm officially a
technical producer, can you run that back? Oh wait, we're broke. No,
that's kidding. Also me.
We brand new. No. But yeah, like the church is supposed to be a place where you're found. And it's the one place where everyone that we find seems to feel lost.
Yeah.
And that is just, it hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, there's a real problem when homophobia and racism and nationalism unite each other
in one place, and it's a church.
Yeah.
It's very Toby Keith of them, really.
Toby Keith.
What's
is
song?
that song?
Is that the one that's in my daddy served? Is that the one?
Sing more of it and I'll find out.
That'd be a hard pass for me. It may be super hard to find a place to go to church, but I'll tell you what's not difficult. A place to find a bomb-ass coffee with incredible ingredients, an impeccable science process, and the coolest workers we've ever met.
Yeah, we're talking about Strange Matter Coffee that's located in Lansing, Michigan. And it's on the east side of town. They're opening one in MSU's campus. They're really incredible. They have great style, which I always love in a coffee shop.
So cool.
But even better, people and product.
Yeah, and Strange Matter is one of the best inclusive environments we've ever been to. We're super excited that they are sponsoring the Religious Dropouts podcast that you're listening to right now. And we asked the chief executive of Snark, our friend Kara, what her favorite product is on the menu, and this is what she said. Her favorite item is the cold brew concentrate that we steep with ground chicory root, and then we combine the concentrate with ice, simple syrup, and milk. It is the sweetest drink on our menu, and it is a huge crowd favorite. Thanks for that recommendation, Kara. We can't wait to try it when we're there.
I'm into a Pop-Tart and a vanilla latte, so check that out too.
We love you, Strange Matter. Thank you. So we do talk about a lot of church pain. So I do want to, I want to mix it up a little bit. What's the best experience you ever had in the church? What's 10 out of 10? If you could think of a great experience, I will say, free ice cream and pizza. That was great. We got a lot of free snacks.
Yeah.
No denying we had a lot of free
serious?
snacks. Oh,
a
we were
serious
serious.
answer?
I'm sorry, but the snacks are pretty serious.
The snacks are good.
But serious, yeah, I
man.
wonder.
Serious.
I will say, when I was at the church, one of the churches I served at, and I will full send with this lady's name because she is a freaking saint. But Carrie freaking Burba, one of the best women I've ever known, and her husband too, and her daughter. I mean, her whole family.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love them. But Mike and Carrie and Megan, Megan was a student of mine, and when we got our foster daughters, we didn't know what we were gonna do. We didn't know. I mean, daycare. We didn't have money to pay for daycare really, but the state gives you money. But that was all confusing, and we couldn't. The paperwork wasn't working. It's just a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say that Carrie and her family, among a lot of people, right? But she was a huge one that stepped up and watched both of our daughters at one point, the foster daughters we had, but was just so willing to do whatever we needed and just be there with us and be in community with us. And I feel like I always get scared with our podcast sometimes that the great people from the church, because we had we did have great experiences somewhere. They're a little bit underwater, but they're there. If you look a little bit hard, you can see them. And I feel like I don't ever want them to get lost. They're still good. It's just there's a lot of trauma above it. But so I feel like that was one of my favorite moments is that family and the way that some of our families minister to us in those journeys. But what are you thinking?
Man. That's a real hard question.
Which is sad.
Yeah.
Because I think it's
well, and I wish I could have said when I became Jeffrey's guardian, the church helped me get all these things, but
they didn't. They didn't help you do
Isn't
anything.
that crazy?
Yeah, it is crazy.
That's what I wanted to say. That felt so right when you were talking about.
Well, tell us about Jeffrey real quick. Well, I mean, maybe not his personhood, but your situation. You had a student.
Yeah, I was.
Just so
20,
they know,
I was
if you're
25, and I had a student, a previous student that I have seen most of his life grow up. But I was his youth pastor for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
And just love the kid to death. Still do. Just texting him today. He's out in California.
Love you, G Money.
Love you. Glad you're having the best time of your life.
God, maybe that was the best thing. The students, dude. Oh my gosh.
It really was. I think I would have said something like that, and I still will say something short, but I'll just say, I just had a student that he I just don't know how much of his story is mine to share.
Yeah.
But I'll say he was in a tough living situation, and I got the opportunity to be his guardian.
Yeah.
And I had to move really, really fast. I was gonna say the best situation about that. This isn't in the church, but the day I was wrestling with that, I know I drove to 3 of my church family people's house, and I talked with one of my old youth volunteers.
Yeah.
She gave me advice. I was like,
people
I'm praying about this. I'm
connected
wrestling
to
with
from
this.
the church.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I do think there was a little bit of love there. I wanted to know
and a value
what should
in
I
that
do.
community.
Yeah, a value,
Yeah,
but
for sure.
But yeah.
For sure.
So I helped him with his last year of high school, senior year.
It was insane.
Was insane.
G Money, you caused some gray hairs, mother trucker. You know what I'm saying? Oh, is that a curse word?
I don't have gray hairs.
That'd be the first one. I mean, I can see some from here. We won't zoom in or anything, but
this lighting's just too good.
Oh, I'm not gonna lie. It's been hard to look at. It's a little bright. It's a little bright up in here. But that's that's what we're doing.
Maybe my best experience was just I've had some car rides where I've talked real with some students.
Yeah.
And
gosh.
and those were the best. Like,
I just
slight
think
tears talking about like dating and
I can
how lonely they felt, but they
remember.
wanted like
Yep.
they wanted it, you know, and we
Yep.
just got to talk about the realness of that longing, and I think things like that.
I think about
this sounds really weird. I'm sorry for whatever guy I'm putting on blast.
No, I was almost gonna say this is
or
really
all
funny.
of you guys I'm putting on blast.
I was gonna be like, oh, I just thought about C Diddy. And like he'd be so pissed. Like you thought about me when Brandon was talking about loneliness.
There's real anonymity
love you,
with your
buddy.
C Diddy nickname.
There is. That's why I'm like,
exactly.
But I do love you, C Diddy. He's probably not listening to this, but I do love you. I wish you would listen to this because we love you. But no, we had the most incredible students that we came across, and some of those students now, one of them, Sarah, she just became a youth pastor. Just got her district license. It's super cool. She's still in the Nazarene Church.
You rock,
still
Sarah.
Love her. Brenna just went on a youth, or she's in missions, isn't she? She's went on a trip or something.
She's going.
Yeah, I think so. I just saw that. Olivia, who was a counselor when you were a counselor, you guys were counselors together, right? Liv, I love her. She's amazing. She's a PA now. I think she's like just graduated this like whatever the most difficult medical. Like the next part of her medical school or whatever.
Are we about to just drop like 10 students' names that we just believe in?
We're going to go, okay, and then no. But like genuinely though, like we can think back to all these students that we still have a relationship with now, whether they stayed in the church or not.
Yeah.
And that can be the value sometimes of the church, is the people that you meet that don't leave.
Yeah.
That get to stay in your life because it was never about you sitting in the pew. It was always about your heart and who you were as a person. And I think that we really felt that way in the church. We really, really loved people. And it had nothing to do with whether they showed up to church or not.
Yep.
It was who they were.
We feel that over you right now. Like, we just love you no matter if you're attending church or not, believing or not. Like, we just got you.
That's right.
Call us if you need some.
Yeah, no crap. Yeah, we got you. Just give us a call. The number, we'll put the number in the show
notes. We'll give it a shot.
One thing I wanted to share really quick as we leave today, we're about to kind of close out this episode, but I wanted to share a quick story. June is Pride Month. So it's coming up just a couple days. And so I wanted to see and I'm going to share mine first and then to give you space if you want. And you might not have one. I'm not sure. We haven't talked a whole lot about this.
Yeah, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out. But I wanted to think about maybe the reality of students or people in your life coming out to you.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm never going to share anyone else's story. So I'm not going to be like this one time. But I just wanted to share like what that means to me now. And I was thinking about, as Pride Month comes, I was thinking about a student once came out to me. And I'll never forget. And I kind of want to bring this up, number one, if you've been through this with a pastor. So like if you're listening and you've come out to a pastor and they've messed up, I'm going to speak to that for a second. But also, if you're listening to this and maybe you haven't come out yet, or maybe you're not there yet, I want you to know that like we love you and we're here for you. And you're safe where you are. If coming out is not safe, staying where you are is fine too. But I've had a lot of students come out to me over the years, like a lot, in their sexuality. And one of them, I will never forget, they came out to me and I was like, well, it's okay, but you just can't be in a relationship. It's okay. That's your identity, but you just can't, like, it's against the Bible. And I will never forget thinking like, I would give anything to take it back.
Yeah.
I would give anything to be like, I was wrong. I was confused. I didn't really understand what it really did say. And I think sometimes when we talk about church hurt on this podcast, I think sometimes we have to own up to the places where we're a part of that. And I know that student, and maybe even other students, I don't know, when they think about their church hurt, it's pretty gut-wrenching to think they could point to me because I was young and I made mistakes. And so I don't necessarily was going to ask you, is it a coming out story? But on the same realm of the church hurt and Pride Month coming up, that was my regret, I guess, as a pastor, is those moments when I just didn't know enough. I was too young. I was too inexperienced. And I just wondered if you have any, like, man, if someone has a church hurt and they look at, could they point to you? Or is there anything you wish you could have changed or taken back now on this side of it?
Oh, man.
I know there's a few things I could say, but so I was just thinking about that.
No, I mean, I don't really, not necessarily relating to pride or coming out.
Yeah.
I don't really know what, I can't remember believing one way or another.
Yeah.
Back when I was a youth pastor.
Yeah.
So I definitely wouldn't have felt equipped enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I did meet students across the district that I would sit with, and
Yeah.
I would just try to understand. I don't know if I had everything figured out, and that's okay too. I think looking back, I would much rather feel silent because I didn't know
100%.
than loud in my figuring it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, not as much as I wish.
Yeah.
Definitely there's some high school regrets. So hopefully nobody
Oh my gosh.
nobody knew me as a middle schooler or high
No
schooler.
crap. We'll have to go over that next episode.
God, don't make me.
You
do
know what
it.
that did when I thought about regrets? I thought about remember when we used to do Ask Me Anything at camp?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys.
No, I definitely do.
You guys. We don't need to get into this really long, but
I
do.
told a whole room of high schoolers that I was trying to say I loved my sister so much. This isn't bad.
Oh no.
I don't know if you even remember this.
I don't.
I was trying to say I love Shelby a whole lot.
We love her too. Shout out to Shelby.
And
She made this and that. Anyway.
I was trying to say I love Shelby a whole lot, and I remember just feeling like such an idiot because what I said was, like, I love her so much that I would make sure she would get to heaven before all of you. I said something like that.
But it might not have
Before
been a
anybody
lie.
else.
It might not have been a lie. He might have genuinely thought, I hope my sister goes to heaven before all of you. I don't
was
know.
literally like,
Was I in the room? Because that's effed
you
up.
were. Because I was
Okay,
like
wow.
trying genuinely to say something about
I'm leaving
like,
the podcast.
how much she
This is
mattered,
religious dropout.
but I didn't. I said it in a way that said all of you are completely damned if that meant
Dude.
Shelby could make it.
We're gonna start having some people on the podcast, and we're gonna get into a series, actually, a couple episodes, I think, maybe, because I think we'll stretch it, about camp. We're gonna talk about camp. So
funny.
if you want to stay campy, I'm telling you, this will be the place that you want to be soon. We're gonna do a couple camp episodes, and we'll have some people on.
Do you haven't asked me anything
I
that you're embarrassed about?
So we had this segment. Please explain. Please just give them an image of what this looked like. When you talk about church trauma, this is the trauma, dude.
It's like hour and a half.
Oh,
4 to 7 pastors / young
People that
teenagers
might
that
not
have
have
been
even-
pastors for a week / me. That was me for
people
a second.
that maybe should have never been giving any advice ever.
Camp speakers that we had to let go, like,
oh, dude, you
like,
guys.
after several days of the camp week. So it's interesting that we would kind of just be like, yeah, sure, come on up. Like,
Yeah, and so you drop a question. These students, these middle school or
room
high
of
school
40
students,
maybe.
Yep, would write a question on a note and drop it on the stage, and then these random leaders, and honestly, these some of these leaders, like Brandon just said, were just so out of, like, who the hell? But we just had
Most
some
of them
randos.
We really trusted and were friends.
Most of them might not. A couple of them probably.
Got it.
Because it would be like me, you, and then maybe like Courtney or Matt or a couple, and then it'd be like random, like band members or like speaker. Like it was
Person
just
at church, been youth pastor for 2 weeks.
Yep, just got hired but wants to be the person that speaks in the whole thing that should never be speaking. Yeah, definitely.
And then they dominate it.
Oh my god, dude. I can't bring it up too much because the trauma's getting me. I'm gonna throw up. But
Don't worry, Chelsea. I'll take this one.
This is the next question. But we had this question once, and I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember when the person asked about dating? There was a student that asked about dating, and the speaker talked about at the movies and how a girl made him feel. Do you remember that?
Oh,
Please tell me you remember that.
I think I do.
Dude. They were asking about, like, what was the question? You remember the question? I don't even
How
know.
do you date as a Christian teen or something?
yeah, it
It's
was-
probably going to be something real simple.
It was so, I really do think it was so innocent. And so it was just like, hey, yo, like, you know, and we've had several conversations about bringing up some of that too on the podcast. So we'll bring that up too, but we're not going there tonight. But they gave this question about just relationships, and this guy, I don't even know what started his answer, but do you remember when he said something about, I'll never forget what it felt like the first.
It was something like that felt really reminiscent and gross, and you just
Like
wanted to exit. Like my
he
whole
was
soul
reliving
wanted
it while
to
he was
leave my
telling the
body.
story. Yeah, and what was it though? It was about a girl's hand on his leg. What was the story? Do you remember?
No, it was something like that though. You're saying all the key parts that I would have said.
It was something like, I just will never forget what it felt like. Girls, that's what it was. He started talking to the girls. He started talking to the teenage girls. He pointed out the girls. Remember, he's like, ladies, remember this because I will never forget the temptation I felt when that girl put her hand on my leg.
That is some Mark Driscoll if I have never heard it.
What in the Mars Hill is happening?
For real.
Dude, you guys, I'm telling you, this is real. God, if we could write a book, bro, we could start a podcast.
We could start a podcast.
Dude. But yeah, this dude was like talking to these teenage girls, like these young girls. And he's like, ladies, you need to think about the power of what you wear, of what you do, of what you say, because I will never forget what it felt. And then he like,
because I'll never forget how it made me feel.
we were like,
oh God, that's
boom,
gross.
it feels like you didn't remember, but we wish you would forget because it's getting real creep city up in here. Dude, on that note, I can't even imagine. AMA is going to be a segment that we have. We're going to get like a jingle for that. That'd be hilarious for our camp podcast, for the camp podcast. We did not forget about our final segment. Beham, take it away.
Keyboard Warriors for Christ.
Woo.
Keyboard Warriors for Christ.
Gosh. So, the keyboard warrior was upset with Brandon and I speaking out about some hate that we'd experienced in the church. And so this is my favorite thing. I have two actually, but okay. Here it is. Ready? Enough is enough already.
It's the voice.
I'm sorry. I know. I was trying really hard. Y'all are now in the wrong. Oh, does that mean we were once in the right? Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. Y'all are now in the wrong. Nobody deserves to be ruined for your own weird satisfactions.
Weird satisfactions?
And I thought that reminded me of a keyboard warrior we once had that said that the only reason that Brandon wanted to do this podcast, what they say about you. Dude, this lady said something about Brandon, like the only reason you want to do this podcast is to make people angry and get people riled up. Like that was the only reason you.
Yeah.
And we're like, bro, if we want to do that, we did not need a podcast.
And all it will do will push people away from God.
But that one's so good for our own weird satisfactions. So dropouts today for your own weird satisfactions. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep.
It really satisfied us.
We hope it was 1 star.
Weird. 1 out of 10. Is it 1 out of 5?
It is.
1 out of 5. 1 out of 5. Gay and overpriced. Did I wear that shirt today? Do we have?
You wore it last week on the podcast.
Where's it from?
Bobcat Bonnies.
Bobcat Bonnies. And we'll show you guys a picture in this podcast. Overpriced and gay, 1 star. So I'm sure we'll be looking forward to that next.
Bye, everyone.
Hey, fam. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of the Religious Dropouts podcast. We hope it gave you a space to breathe, to laugh, and connect. It's our hope that as you journey along with us, that you too might find yourself saying, damn, it feels good to be a dropout. Be sure to check out our show notes for links to anything mentioned in this episode, including ways to connect with us on social media. We'd also love for you to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with anyone you know who might want to join our community. You are loved. Have a great week.